Good morning, and good morning to you this morning. Welcome to Today in L.A. I hope everybody's doing well this morning as we start a Tuesday, the 23rd day of October. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a big, big day if you're a Troy University fan, as the Trojans and the South Alabama Jaguars go at it tonight from Ladd Peoples Stadium in Mobile. In what should be quite a football game. South Alabama and Troy University go at it. 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN2. Nationwide television at its very best. And, hey, great exposure for our program. And, of course, a great opportunity for our Trojans to move on and establish their goals for the season as they're trying to run through the Sun Belt Conference schedule and go make it to that big day in December where the East meets the West in the Sun Belt Conference for the Sun Belt Conference Championship, and by winning that championship, also going to the New Orleans Bowl on December the 15th. It's a lot of goals still in front of Troy University. Of course, they lost a heartbreaker last week to Liberty. No way in the world Liberty's supposed to beat Troy. I believe if Troy plays them 10 times, they beat them 9 times. I think we are better than Liberty. But on that day, when it took a team to drive 89 yards for a touchdown, Liberty did it, and we weren't able to stop them, and that's the final result as they beat us. It was 16 to, well, it was actually, the score was actually 16 to 14 heading down the stretch, and then they score and win the game 21 to 14. And of course, Troy, hates to lose that kind of game, but at the same time, all their, like I mentioned up front, all of their goals are in front of them. Goals of sweeping the Sun Belt undefeated, goals to play for the conference championship, December the 1st, goals to go to the bowl game. It's just everything's in front of them, and of course, so we've got to start playing them one game at a time, and that game will be South Alabama tonight. Of course, the Las Vegas folks say that Troy's 11-point favorite. I say if we can win by a point, we ought to and go back home right now. I'd be ready to do that because this is going to be a real good football game, a game where these two teams are coached by outstanding young coaches. Coach Campbell at South Alabama is a former Troy great, played on the '87 national championship team. And of course, Kenny Edenfield, the offensive coordinator, is a Troy graduate, played on a championship team at Troy, and of course, coached on Troy's staff for the last 12 or 15 years. Until this past season, when he went to work with Coach Campbell at South Alabama. And Haystack, who we always have called him when he was at Troy. I think he was at Troy in '84 and '87 championship years. And, of course, he is the defensive coordinator for South Alabama. So a lot of Troy flavor, and a lot of their staff people also are, in fact, Kenny's son is also a part of that coaching staff at South Alabama. Troy expects to make Trailways bus lines feel pretty good today. I want to say 25 buses will be leaving Troy to go to Mobile tonight for that game. There's supposed to be 10 student buses, and I think they're all going to be riding Trailways, unless I apologize if I'm wrong, but you Trailways bus people are getting a good advertisement here. And then the band, the Troy University Marching Band, takes 9 buses. Then the football team and its staff and the cheerleaders and administrative people add 3 more buses. And then we've got an alumni bus leaving the alumni house and we'll be leaving at 2 o'clock today, and we still have plenty of seats for you if you want to call in or just come by and grab a seat on the bus. You don't even have to call if you don't want to. Just come in and grab a seat on the bus. The seats are $60 a person, and we're filling up pretty quickly, but I would say we have 15 or 20 more seats available, so come jump on the bus with us today, and we'll take you down there and bring you back. You won't have to worry about parking. We're going to take you to the tailgate area where Faith Ward will be feeding over 800 people barbecue from down there. So it's going to be a great time, a great pageantry at the marching, the great Sound of the South Marching Band will be playing before and after the game, and before, during, and after the game. And it's just going to be a great day for Troy, especially if we can win the football game. But if you see a lot of buses coming from Montgomery today, that's where they're going. They're going to pick up a huge bunch of folks from here in Troy and take them to Mobile for that game. Again, 2 o'clock from the alumni house. Should get down there around 5 without any problem, and then go to our tailgate and then to the football game, and then after the game probably we'll stop somewhere maybe after the game, get a little bite to eat, but and then head on back to Troy. So if you want to ride, again, either be there at 2 o'clock or call this number 372-2001, 372-2001, or 372-3036, or 372-3036, and hop on board with our alumni bus, and we should we'll be leaving right at 2 o'clock, or if everybody's on the bus and ready to go, we'll leave sooner than that. But it's going to be a great trip to go to Mobile and tailgate and have fun with the Troy crowd, and then hopefully go in and see a big Trojan victory, watch a Trojan victory, then get on the bus and come on back to Troy and sleep on the bus. Like the old Greyhound guy said, hey, and leave the drive-in to us. And we'd love to have you on aboard the Trojan train heading to Ladd Peoples Stadium tonight for a 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN2. And that is another great thing. ESPN2 is a very well-known channel to people across the country. We're the only football game in America going Division I, playing that at 7 o'clock tonight, and should be hopefully a great atmosphere for football as they play for the belt. They've been doing this for the past 6 years. Troy has won 3 times, and South Alabama has won 3 times. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing? Go Trojans.
Hi, morning.
And, of course, a big day for Troy, Mike, on ESPN2. You can't beat that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big game. I just hope Troy got some things straightened out from the Liberty game, and I know the defense will show up. If you look at what Troy did defensively against Liberty, they really just gave up that last touchdown. I mean, other than that, they played pretty decent. And they're going to come out and play hard tonight against South Alabama. Hopefully Samuels will be back, and hopefully a few of these other guys have been nicked up. Marcus Webb's been nicked up. He's a really good defensive lineman.
You mentioned, you said you hope who would be okay?
Samuel. Not Samuels. Folsom. I hope Folsom will be back at linebacker tonight.
Yeah, Samuels is out of here, isn't he?
No, not Samuel. Sorry, Trey Folsom. I hope will be back at linebacker tonight.
The outstanding linebacker. You're right. We need him back.
And then I hope Marcus Webb's been hurt as well. Hopefully he'll be back full strength, and then you got the Nixon brothers. They've been dinged up. They're good role players, and it's going to be a really good game tonight. I wish I could go down there. I'm going to watch it on TV. I'm going to...
The paper today had the big picture. This is Montgomery paper with a big picture of a South Alabama guy celebrating a big victory.
South Alabama came into Troy last year and broke everybody's heart after Troy beating LSU, and
I know it.
Huge crowd, and South Alabama just dominated the whole game. I mean, Troy couldn't even make a 20-yard field goal. It was really a really bad night, and got beat 19-8 by Joey Jones. And so far, the series against South Alabama's tied. It's 3-3. So maybe Troy can, win one more tonight and go up 4-3 for the battle of the belts.
Yeah,
is what this is
that's
called.
what I was telling about it. Troy's won 3 and South Alabama's won 3. And Mike, every game I felt like Troy was better than South Alabama, even those that we lost. Didn't you?
I don't know. A few times they came in and whipped us pretty good.
Well, I don't remember that, but maybe my memory's short.
Brandon Silvers threw 3 interceptions one time. They beat us by 14, 16 points.
Yeah, okay, that was the one that I needed.
Now, one time we stole a game late. Eric Thomas made an unbelievable catch in the end zone.
Yeah. What was that receiver's name?
Eric Thomas.
Boy, was he great or not. He was a great player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a big physical guy. He had a great game against Tennessee.
And everybody in the stadium knew that Troy was going to throw to him, and he just went up and got it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Of course, this game has so much flavor about it, and Campbell, the head coach at South Alabama, would have loved to have got the Troy job when that job was open. I don't know if they looked around him and hired Coach Brown, and great hire it was, but hey, it would have been a good hire to hire Campbell, wouldn't it?
Well, at the time, I can't remember if he was at Central Arkansas already or if he was still coaching junior college when they gave the job to Neal.
He might have been.
Of course, Neal's done an unbelievable job.
Of course, Campbell's
won everywhere he's ever been. He's won at a national championship at Delta State, Division II school, so I'm sure him and Jeremy McClain probably know each other. I've never really thought about that.
Did he win I know he won a junior college national championship.
Yeah, he won a junior college national championship, a Division II national championship, and then he went to the playoffs, I think, 2 or 3 times.
With that Missouri team, yeah. Was it Arkansas team?
Central Arkansas.
Yeah, Central Arkansas, yeah.
School.
Very good program, no question.
When he was at Central Arkansas, he beat Arkansas State, I know, at least once.
Yeah. Very good football coaches.
Tell me what happened the other night. I saw that briefly. Arkansas State was absolutely destroying Georgia State. And the next thing I know, I look at the final score, and it was 51-35. When I was watching it in the first half, I think Georgia State had only scored 7 points.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but
it ended up being a shootout.
Yeah, it sure did. And
so I guess the Giants, Eli threw for 399 yards, and they still lost last night.
Well, I was hoping they'd come back, and I went to bed thinking that they might come back, but they lost again. I think the days of Eli Manning are about over with, Mike.
I'll tell you what, he threw for 399 yards. I don't know if they're over with. It's still a pretty good game.
Well, they sure can win.
Scoring, too. It was only, 23-20?
Yeah. The problem is they didn't block for him. The offensive line didn't give him any time to throw. And that's why
it's one of those things where Atlanta has lost so many close games at home. They were due to pull one out.
Yeah.
But they're only 3-4.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody wants to know next weekend the game time. It's gonna be prime time. Alabama LSU at 7 o'clock. That came out yesterday. So anybody wanting to get their parties together and get ready for a huge game down in Baton Rouge, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people excited for that next weekend. CBS will have a double hitter actually that day. They'll have a game at 2:30 and then they'll have a game at 7. So biggest game this weekend though by far in the SEC is Georgia and Florida.
Yeah, that is a big game, especially in the East. This should determine the East, doesn't it? Shouldn't it?
You would think so. I mean, Kentucky still got a chance as well though, because they have the win at Florida.
Yeah. Of course. A lot of football left and a lot of things that can happen,
Yeah, I'm more excited about watching this Troy game than I have in a long, long time. I mean, losing Barker at the time, think
We
maybe
didn't realize how. We did. You know what we did? You know what we did? We didn't realize what we had in Barker, did we?
Well, we did.
I think I did because I saw it from the very beginning. What a great young athlete he was. But hey, he was a All-American type, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody saw that last game when he already had like 120 yards,
He was gonna go over 300 yards that day.
140 yards passing in the first quarter. You know, that was kind of. It's still just a shame all that happened, but hopefully Smith will come out and play the best game he's ever played tonight. Of course,
if he doesn't, we lose. If he doesn't have a good game, we lose football game.
I think Brown's going to have a quick hook. I think you're going to see Watson in the game.
You know, let me tell you this: they were practicing yesterday afternoon at 5:30. They were practicing. Did you know that? Yesterday.
I didn't know that because I don't live in Troy. But
I know, but think about it now. Yesterday afternoon at 5:30, they were practicing. Most of the time, they don't practice that much the day before the game, but they practice a couple hours.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if there's any new wrinkles on offense. I mean, I still think you got to put Marcus Jones on the field on offense every once in a while.
But he's a great playmaker. He's a great playmaker. There's no question about it. And this is going to be a big one. 7 o'clock kickoff. Ladd Peoples, and like I said, we got a bus if you want to jump on and ride with us. We love to have you.
In front of the stadium before the game.
We're leaving right there in front of the alumni house, which is right across the street from the stadium.
Yeah, but I mean, y'all going to tailgate outside of Ladd Stadium?
Oh yeah. We expect to feed as many as 800 people. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Well, we've got buses, Mike. We've got 25 buses leaving Troy going to Mobile.
I'll tell you what this is more than anything is a great recruiting game. This is a huge game. I mean, there'll be so many recruits in that area that will be heading to that game tonight.
You are exactly right. There'll be a lot of high school people because we recruit that area quite a bit ourselves. From Northwest Florida, southern Mississippi. That is some great recruiting grounds. South Alabama, South Mississippi,
Panhandle.
The actual Florida Panhandle, and the Mississippi coast. A lot of good football players in those areas.
Yeah,
we're the only game in
a
America.
Great players from that area for many years.
And the great thing about it, we're the only game in America tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And is there a baseball game? It probably is a baseball game, isn't it?
I'd have to look and see.
I know
we're
the only football game in America. Mike, what a win for Auburn. Boy, you talking about somebody that needed a win. Auburn needed a win. And ladies and gentlemen, War Eagle, the Auburn Tigers are back and ready, Mike. Hey, they hadn't skipped a beat since the last time they played. They went to Ole Miss and wore them out. They beat Ole Miss like a drum, Mike. Now they're ready. They're coming back. And who they got, Mike, in 2 weeks? They're off and resting. They're going to take a nap. They're going to take a nap this week, and then we'll be back ready next week.
They'll have Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M.
And do they host them?
Yeah.
And they'll be hosting Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher, and should be quite a game, and we'll be looking forward to that.
Jimbo's done a great job his first year at Texas A&M. I mean, they don't look like the same program, but someone left.
And ladies and gentlemen,
and what a poor hire by Arizona to take someone. You know, you got a guy that just got fired.
Yeah.
From a school like Texas A&M, and then you go ahead and hire him at Arizona. I mean, I don't think that was a smart hire. I mean, there's a reason the guy got fired, and you're seeing it already at Arizona. They've won one game.
One game. Man, man.
And the crazy thing is, Rich Rodriguez' son, starting quarterback at Arizona right now because Khalil Tate, their great quarterback, got hurt last week, so he played.
Well, see, I'm sure Summerlin's using that as an excuse. You know, Summerlin's a fairly classy guy, no question.
I mean, I thought at one time he was a really up and coming good coach, but man, I don't know why you make that hire at Arizona. I mean, it's kind of a retread hire, in my opinion.
I want to mention Pike County Ford on the bypass right here is dealing. They've got a huge sale going on right now. If you want to save money on a Ford car, truck, or any used car, truck, I promise you, they're doing it, and they're dealing right now at Pike County Port on the bypass. And drop by and see my buddy Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky out there that's doing a really good job.
Boy, Ricky does a great job, and we really like him. And he's been a positive influence on Troy and what's good for Troy since he's been here. And he's been a great supporter of high schools sports, and we appreciate him very much.
Ladd Stadium holds around 40,000. I would think there'd be at least 25,000 there today.
I will say that it will be. I would say it would be in the 30s, at least, and maybe more than that. It's going to be a huge game. It's a big.
Mobile unfortunately runs into a lot of the same issues Legion Field has. That's in a really bad part of Mobile as well, as far as crime.
Yeah, no question. Of course, Troy is 5-2, 3-0 in the Sun Belt. South Alabama's 2-5 and 1-2 in the Sun Belt. But hey,
Troy could really, if they win this game tonight, I mean, it could be a huge matchup in the next few weeks going to Georgia Southern, especially if Georgia Southern upsets Appalachian State. That's the biggest game in the Sun Belt this week by far. Will be when Georgia Southern and Appalachian State play. Appalachian State is ranked as well. Their only loss is to Penn State in overtime.
Are they ranked in the top 25?
Yeah, Appalachian State is.
All right, that is something to see.
I didn't realize that the starting quarterback at Appalachian State, I think, from Clay Chalkville.
Clay Chalkville. Gosh, I didn't know that. What was it? Is he the one who went to Southern Miss?
No. This is the quarterback's Clay Chalkville outside of Birmingham.
I know, but do you remember Clay Chalkville had a quarterback at Ole Miss a couple of years ago?
They had a guy, Clay Chalkville had a starting
Southern Miss, maybe it's Southern
Miss.
Miss.
A couple of years ago.
It might have been Southern Miss. I could have got
Southern Miss starting quarterback was from Spain Park named Nick Mullins. He was a great player.
Yeah.
He's in the NFL right now.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah.
But of course, I'll tell you another little story. I was watching. I went to the Mountain Brook game against Thompson of Alabaster. And of course, the brother of Tua played for Thompson and was the real difference. Then I found out I saw Larry Hancock at the game. His grandchildren go to Mountain Brook, and of course, I think he had one grandchild that was a cheerleader at one time at Mountain Brook. But and Bob Booth had a cheerleader at Mountain Brook too, Mike. But a lot of flavor there. Yeah, but I found out that Strother Gibbs,
starting quarterback.
Yeah, Strother Gibbs' son is the starting quarterback at Mountain Brook, and he played a good game, and he's only a sophomore. Did you know that?
I didn't realize that. I know a few years ago, our cousin Chris Branch from here in Birmingham was the starting quarterback at Mountain Brook.
That's right, he sure was. So a lot of local flavor at Mountain Brook High School, and of course that's a fabulous school, no question about it. But hey, Thompson is the real deal, Mike. And when do they play Hoover?
They've already gotten beat by Hoover. They'll play them in the playoffs, probably coming up here in a few weeks.
Did they get beat by Hoover?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I was wrong
there.
The
starting quarterback is a guy named Zach Thomas. He's from Trussville, Alabama. Actually, I'm sorry, he's not from Clay Chalkville. He's from Hewitt-Trussville.
Oh, this kid came from Hewitt-Trussville.
Well, Hewitt-Trussville and Clay Chalkville are right next to each other.
All right, Appalachian State quarterback.
Yeah, he's from Trussville, Alabama. 6'1", 200 pounds. He's only a sophomore.
Huh. Did you remember when he was in high school?
I probably watched some of his highlights, but I didn't realize he was at Appalachian State.
Yeah. Of course, we're looking at a huge bus. But people driving down the road are going up toward on 65 today around noon, I would say, or a little after noon. When they see all those buses going, they're going to wonder what in the world is going on. And the Trojans, last time they played at South Alabama, that big crowd helped them win. I want to mention a little bit about our quarterback, Sawyer Smith. He's 6'3", 219 pounds, and he's from Tate High School in Pensacola. So far, Smith was last week was just 13 out of 25 passing for 125 yards and a touchdown. And the Trojans were only able to gain around 293 yards in that game, and just wasn't enough to beat Liberty. Of course, right now those two teams, South Alabama and Troy, are 3-3 overall, and Troy's won all three of their games at Mobile, and South Alabama's won all their games at Troy. Can you believe that?
Wow, that is hard to believe because Troy's youth has been pretty good in Veterans Stadium.
Yeah, no question about it. By the numbers, it says 13 straight times Troy has won when one of its players ran for 100 yards. Did you know that? Before the Trojans lost at Liberty, the last loss was at North Carolina State in 2015. Did you know Troy had one of the longest
9-game winning streak on the road.
9-game winning streak on the road, which was something a lot of people didn't know. I remember that North Carolina State game. Brandon Burks had 124 yards rushing in that game. 49-18, the Trojans' record in their Division 1A era when they had a 100-yard rusher. Troy was 49-18. That's pretty impressive, Mike.
Well, let's hope that Troy can find a way to win tonight. I don't care if it's by 1 point.
Me too.
I think Vegas has totally got this game wrong at 12.5.
No question about it. I think it's going to be a close game. Both schools,
I don't know how in the world they can look at what Troy did against Liberty and scoring 16 points and think that they're going to be able to come out and beat a team by 12.5. But I don't know. I mean,
well, I'll tell you exactly.
Vegas does what they do for some reason, but I mean, South Alabama, a lot of people don't realize they put 35 points on a really good Memphis team.
Well, I'll tell you this, and it's the truth more than anything. South Alabama's plan will be to hold the football. They want to keep the football away from Troy's offense. Troy's got a potent offense, and then that's pretty much what Liberty did. They drove 89 yards in 14 plays.
I mean, what Liberty did is they whipped Troy on both lines.
I know it, but at the end, they kept the ball completely away from Troy. They went 89 yards in 14 plays, Mike. Took up almost the entire fourth quarter. And then when they get down there, they score and then go for two and make it. So that right there turned the whole table on the game.
Of course, Liberty will be playing Auburn here in a few weeks, and Auburn will probably put 50 on them. And then they'll play Virginia, and Virginia will probably blow them out as well. But that was the biggest thing about Auburn's win this weekend. That pretty much guarantees them a bowl spot.
Well, I know it, and that's right.
They'll beat Liberty and get the 6 wins.
No question about it, and they're going to get better. Hey, they've got players, and they're going to get better. No question about it. Alabama, of course.
I am glad the band's going to be there tonight. They always think it's really good to have the band on them.
Yeah, the entire band, 9 busloads of band. How about that? That's a lot of band, isn't it? Boy, I tell you what, today is be kind. I should say this. Today is be kind to your favorite bus line, Mike, Trailways.
Yeah.
Because they really have a huge group leaving Troy.
Well, nice thing later tonight. You can close your eyes and try to sleep on the way home. That'd be nice.
No question about it. And like those, I mentioned this earlier.
I mean, I know you're like me though. After a football game, you got so much adrenaline. You can 6 or 7 hours.
Oh yeah, you're exactly right. I won't sleep a wink. I'll be thinking about that big win, hopefully. And of course, everybody's excited about a big win. And Troy.
Just drop you off right at the studio. You need to bring a pillow and a blanket.
I will do my show tomorrow morning. I promise you. I might be half asleep, but I will do my show tomorrow, hopefully talking about a big victory. Mike, hear this. The Dallas Cowboys have acquired Oakland receiver Amari Cooper for a first-round draft choice. Can you believe it?
I saw that yesterday. I mean, the Cowboys have been hurting as far as offensive playmakers. They got rid of Dez Bryant. And Cooper has been kind of inconsistent. I think John Gruden didn't like some of the things he's done, to start the season. And They are trying to rebuild things in Oakland. They'll have 5 first-round picks the next 2 years.
5 first-round picks.
Yeah, because, they already traded Khalil Mack to the Chicago Bears, who's the best defensive player in the league. So I'm excited to see Cooper with the Cowboys.
I am too.
I think he's,
Mike, I thought he was doing real well in the pros.
Well, he'd already been in 2 Pro Bowls. He hadn't, the last couple of years he's kind of fallen off a little bit.
Well, he had consecutive.
With Cooper going to the Cowboys, can Dak Prescott get him the ball? I mean, he's a decent thrower, but he's not like a like a Brady or a Aaron Rodgers kind of throwing the ball. It doesn't look as pretty, but I know he's got a strong arm, and hopefully that's what Dallas needs is a big deep threat.
Cooper was a 4th overall pick by the Raiders out of Alabama 3 years ago. He started his career with consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, and that is something when you go 2 seasons in a row and catch passes for over 1,000 yards.
The biggest thing about Cooper is he's only 24 years old. He's a kid.
But had just 2 targets and 1 catch since the second of those two games. Well, he started his career, but has had just 2 targets and 1 catch since the second of those games, Mike. That's
Well, he got a concussion in his last game, so he got knocked out and didn't really play that much.
Okay, so but that is big news. Dallas gets Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper can also run back kicks too, can he, Mike? Isn't he a big kick returner too?
No, he's just more a receiver. He's never been a big kick returner. Also news broke that Jalen Hurts had a bad sprained ankle against Tennessee and had a minor surgery. So
and he won't play against
Jalen Hurts will be not practicing this week, but Saban said he'll be ready for LSU.
Yeah.
So must have been like a little scope or something like that.
Of course, Alabama or Auburn will be playing this week. Both of them are off this week, and of course the big game.
So they're still talking about that big news with the LSU linebacker Devin White, best linebacker in the SEC, getting targeting late against Mississippi State. A lot of people were talking about on the radio here in Birmingham yesterday. A lot of people were calling in and saying they didn't think it was targeting or it wasn't enough to get targeting. I saw the play live. He definitely hit with the crown of his helmet and lowered his head. It wasn't like a dangerous play, but that was something a lot of people were addressing. Is this targeting rule something that maybe they need to change where you don't miss a whole half for your next game? That's a big thing when your best player is not going to play the first half against Alabama because Alabama usually destroys people in the first half.
No question about it.
It's one of those type things where this is a big deal for LSU not having him.
Yeah. We're gonna have Coach Larry Blakeney on our phone, Mike, hopefully in a few moments, and we're gonna be bringing him in.
Sure, Coach Blakeney will be watching tomorrow night.
I know it exactly. What we're gonna do, we're gonna take a short break, and we're gonna hopefully when we get back, we'll be talking to Coach Larry Blakeney, former Troy University football coach and a very good friend of ours. We'll be right back. Try to stay on, Mike, if you can. Now, if I drop you, call me back here.
Well, I mean, if you got to talk to him, that's fine.
No, I'd like for you to be there, too. Hold on a second.
The number you have entered has not been recognized. The number you have entered has not been recognized.
Coach, can you talk to us this morning?
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the line is Coach Larry Blakeney, former head football coach at Troy University. And Coach Blakeney, big night for the Trojans tonight. What do you think?
Well, I really
Neil yesterday, and he's trying to get his team back where he wants them, and they're working hard. And they had a disappointing loss at Liberty. I've been there, I've done that, and it's no fun. It's a tough trip, and a tough team on the other end normally, and so he's trying to get them better and get them back to a point where they can be as competitive as they can be.
Coach, in all those years you were at Troy, and gosh, you won 179 games. And when South Alabama started football, we knew they would be strong one day, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It's just too good a recruiting area, and they've done some good things with their facilities and to aid that recruiting. And by the way, I heard Liberty had a great indoor facility up there. And did you see it? Did you go, Mike?
No, I didn't. But I've heard that they've got unbelievable funds, from what I gather. And they're a very wealthy school, and of course, he's talking about an indoor facility, ladies and gentlemen, something that now is almost, it was a luxury to have, but it's almost something you got to have to compete. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree 100%. And there's a beautiful place for one right there in Troy, it'd just be icing on the cake, and I hope Troy people will talk about it, and the administration will decide to make that happen soon. And that's another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Troy people wanted to move to Division 1A, but you can't do it without facilities to recruit to, and that's a key element of the puzzle. And
well, Coach, one thing what you're saying is you really can't even practice without a facility. I mean, if there's lightning out there, you have nowhere to go, do you?
I spent 25 years at Troy, and ain't no telling how many practices we had to cut short or go to the classroom, and because we didn't have a place to go. And and I know Neil and I have talked, and he's had the same problem, since he's been the head coach, and so if you got a place like that where your kids can be safe, and you can get the job done and not endanger your personnel. So
you take a week like we had a couple of weeks ago, Coach, and without an indoor facility, you're not even able to practice. I mean, it just shuts it completely off, doesn't it?
When it's raining all the time, certainly, but the thunderstorm, if there's a lightning strike within 6 miles or something, you're off the field for approximately an hour, and even if it stopped right then. And so, I'm on the pulpit here.
Yeah, but you know what? Let me tell you this, and you're gonna laugh when I tell you this. A guy tuned in the other day, and he said, "Mike, I could have sworn you were talking to Pat Dye." Of course, nobody's any closer to Pat Dye than you are. Do you see Coach Dye much?
Yeah, I see him occasionally. He's the same old. He works all the time, and
he's just a regular old guy, isn't he, Coach?
Yeah, oh yeah, great man, great coach. Great recruiter. He was in one of the best.
Coach, it's hard to say no to a guy like that, isn't it?
Oh yes sir, it is, and
especially when he got you one-on-one.
Yeah, and when he went in the home, he was special. And parents, mamas, he that old
old growl.
Yeah.
But you know what, Coach?
He was raised on a farm and in the country, and so all that.
He knew how to relate to have you planted your peanuts later? Have you pulled your corn, or have you got your cotton in yet?
That's right. He was good. You know, he sort of chewed those words around, and they loved it. You know, he had a special talent.
But you know what, Coach? You know, he put people around him. You know, Coach Bryant was always, people talked about putting people around you on your staff. Coach Dye did it. You did it at Troy. You put good people around you on your staff, people that you could trust, people that were loyal. You didn't want nothing to do with anybody wasn't loyal. Isn't that right, Coach?
No, that's true. That's exactly right. That's number one. That's for players, for staff, or you know.
I remember you told me one time that what you wanted more than anything when you recruited a player was you wanted him to be able to trust you. I mean, what you say, and that, Coach, that's what people always said about Coach Larry Blakeney. You could trust Larry Blakeney on what he said.
Well, I hope so, and I appreciate that. But and there's so many elements to winning, and I think Troy is positioned right now with Neil Brown and that staff that he's got, and the players are available to Troy University football, and that we talked about the indoor facility. That's the crowning piece, I think, to being able to do the things that we all want for Troy in football and athletics.
The coach also very important, and all you got to do is look up north at up in Birmingham at UAB. You know, they ended up losing their whole program because the guy at the top didn't believe in what was going on in athletics. One great thing about Troy is at least our guy at the top understands what we got to have and what we got to do to win. Don't you agree?
Yeah, well, where is that guy at the top in Birmingham?
I know it, you're exactly. I know it, you're exactly right. And I saw him at homecoming up there, and it was like nothing ever happened. But, man, he left lucky to be in that job as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, there's some people stepped up there in Birmingham and did some things.
Well, you're exactly right. What it all did, it turned around and people started realizing, hey, look what we had and what we lost and now what we got to get back. And they realized what it'll do for your community.
No question in the city. And so, and they started it, they sort of did it backwards, and I have nothing against basketball. And, because I love basketball and played basketball, and it's important, but it ain't football. And in the South, so, UAB did it backwards. They went with football, with basketball, and made a name for themselves in basketball, and then they fouled it up by stopping football for a while, and they got him a great coach, I think, and football.
And Coach, he's just an old country boy, and he's just an old country boy and knows a little bit about ball.
He was raised in the game. His daddy was a coach, and
you know who reminds me so much of him is Wayne Grant. Wayne Grant's back coaching at Crenshaw Christian. A good football coach can win at the 6th grade level or the 7th grade level or the 23-year-old level. Don't you agree?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean,
no question.
It's just amazing what a football coach can do to enhance the morale of an entire community. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Coach Grant is a great one, and he'll be a great one until they put him in his grave. I can tell you that.
Coach, that's a great honor for him to hear that. I tell you, that's in a lot. Of course, you were raised in a small town called Gordo, Alabama, and boy, you talk about winning. They know a lot about winning in that little community, don't they?
Well, yes, sir. And I played for Tommy White, and he plays from West Blockton, Alabama.
He's a little running back for Alabama, wasn't he?
Yeah, he played for Higginbotham, and that's a famous name. And,
Maurice Higginbotham, coach in Enterprise High School.
Yes, and he played for Coach Bryant, and that's a pretty good name in this state too. So,
I learned
a lot from him. My mother's funeral, I went. Coach White came to my mother's funeral.
Oh man, I know that. I know that touched you deeply, Coach.
Yeah, well, I had a chance to hug his neck and tell him. I said, everything I've ever done has been patterned after you. And,
I've heard you say that many times. Man,
yeah,
he
got choked up, so I got him. I got him that one time.
No question. Bill Marsh died. Did you see where Bill Marsh died?
No, sir, I didn't.
He a former Troy coach. He's the guy that Atkins brought in right off the bat to sort of get the guys in there that they needed, the ones that they didn't need him to get out of there. He was that kind of coach, but he died at age 85, Coach.
Well, he lived a good long life and was very productive, and it's just sooner or later we all got to go, and I thought about it a lot. I'm 71 now, and I'm looking at the end of the times, and but we all have to face it, and good Lord has been good to me, and for sure.
No question about it. And your old next door neighbor growing up, and J.A. Williams, and all that crowd that you grew up with, and Frank Elmore. Coach, I don't know if I've discussed this with you before, but I want to mention it. A lot of people don't realize this. You come from one of the more prolific families in football in the state of Alabama.
Well, I don't know.
The Elmore family, Coach, is the family you come from, and your mother was an Elmore. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
All right, and Frank Elmore. Of course,
Elmore's in West Alabama now.
J.T. Elmore was your uncle, wasn't he?
No, J.T. and was in the other set of Elmore, but we were kin down the line.
Yeah, okay. Albert Elmore Sr.
Albert, Doug, Larry, all those Elmores from that side of town.
And Coach, a lot of people might not realize this, but Doug was the starting quarterback under the great Ole Miss teams of Johnny Ball. You remember that, Doug Elmore?
I do. I remember that for sure. And Larry, his brother, played quarterback at Chattanooga.
I was going to mention that too. What an unbelievable. And then Grady Elmore played at Alabama. You remember Grady Elmore?
Oh, yes, sir.
And his daddy was a legendary coach at Ozark and Andalusia. And now, was that directly related to you?
Not directly, but down the line.
And then, of course, Albert Elmore Sr. lived here in Troy, was a State Farm agent, shot his age in golf. Larry, did you ever play golf with him?
No, I didn't.
But and of course, he played in the Rose Bowl with Coach Bryant, Albert Elmore Sr. Then Albert Elmore Jr., who grew up right here in Troy, played at Alabama, was a great athlete. You remember him, don't you?
Oh, yes.
And all of this comes out of this lineage that started, I reckon, not in Gordo, but there in Reform. Is that right?
Well, in Pickens County. In Pickens County and Lamar County up the road.
Isn't that amazing, Coach? What a huge family.
Yeah. And, of course, we don't like to talk about the Reform.
I know it. And they were your bitter enemies, weren't they? They were the big rival, weren't they?
Yes, sir. Big time rivals.
Yeah, I ran into one of your old buddies that was officiating ball not too long ago from Reform. What was it? Rozelle, yeah. Oh, Rozelle, you and Rozelle went to war against each other several times, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. He's a great friend. And was a pitcher, and I know he played at Reform, went to Pickens County High School, whichever. I give them that. Let them call themselves what they want to.
Well, the father of all Tigers also was from Gordo, wasn't he? The AD at Auburn.
A.D. Housel?
Yeah, Housel. Housel was also, right, he wasn't related to y'all, but he was from Gordo, wasn't he?
Yes, sir.
Housel, of course, everybody knows him.
Every grade
Housel, and Housel was a big man at one time, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, big line.
Is his health good? Is he doing all right?
Well, he just had double knee replacement, and he's in recovery, getting better. I've been to see him, and
you know, this is quite a story, and you could write a book. When you were growing up, would you ever thought that he would be a household name in anything? I mean, really. I mean, he was just a regular guy, big guy. He would always weigh overweight, and he's one of the fathers of Auburn Tiger athletics. Wouldn't you say?
Well, I mean, yes, he shouldered a lot of burden of some of the things that happened up here, and also did so many good things. I've loved him for a long time, and he's been a special friend to me. He's number 71, and
number 71. Was he able to block well for you?
Oh, I don't remember where he blocked all that well or not. I kid him all the time that he played right tackle and he ran to the left.
And he weighed about 400 pounds, didn't he?
No.
He was a big guy at one time, wasn't he?
He was big, and we didn't have much of a weight program back then.
Nobody did.
We put him at the right tackle, and he was a starter for us.
I want to mention something, Larry, that a lot of people might not realize about you. You were an outstanding baseball player growing up, and you played on that famous American Legion team in Tuscaloosa that was so good. Y'all went to the national tournament, didn't you?
Post 34, yes, sir. Now, I was at Auburn as a freshman the year they won the national title, but I played on that team for several years before that. And but a guy named Pup Brown and Coach Jerry Belk, who was a.
But that was a big-time American Legion team, and of course, Birmingham had that real good team too out at. Yeah, exactly. Boy, y'all had battles, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Y'all played at Old Rickwood too. You played at Old Rickwood many times, hadn't you?
Well, I played once up there in the high school all-star game when I was a senior, and
but when you
one trip to the Sugar Bowl, and my mama didn't want me to go, so I backed out.
Are you serious? Well, I'll tell you another thing about him. You played SEC baseball for Auburn. When you weren't playing football, you were playing baseball. Tell us about that.
Well, I was recruited sort of by several teams to play both sports, and that's sort of a recruiting ploy. But when I first got there, they wanted me to take care of my football business first, and tried to do that. And so when I became the end of my maybe my sophomore spring or my junior spring, I can't remember for sure what year it was, but they allowed me to play baseball for a couple of years.
What position did you play? Outfield, or did you play shortstop?
No, I played shortstop and third.
Shortstop and third on some SEC championship teams, some real good Auburn teams, Coach. And you can name a lot of players off that team, can't you?
Well, I can tell you, to set the record straight, the really, really great team was right before me, Scotty Long and all those guys.
And that old second baseman used to coach here. What was his name? Our catcher, what was he? Used to coach at Jacksonville. He coached at Troy. Hollis. Joe Hollis was on that team too, wasn't he?
He played the year before me, and he and I played 2 years together.
And he was a good player too, wasn't he, Coach?
Sir?
He was a good player too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was good. There was a lot of good players back then.
And ladies and gentlemen, now I want to mention a young man that a lot of people in Troy don't realize it, but you do, Larry. Frank Fryer from Brundage played first base on that team, didn't he?
Yeah, yes he did.
And he was a good player, wasn't he, Coach?
Position, but he was on the team.
Yeah.
He was before me, so I don't know. He was on that team that went to the World Series.
And of course the coach on that team was very well known. Paul Nix was the head coach at Troy before he went to Auburn. Did you know that?
I think I remember that.
But
a lot of good coaches get their start at Troy. Some good coaches finish their stuff at Troy.
Did you know Coach Riddle very well? Did you ever get to know him real well?
Oh, listen now. Yeah, I knew Coach Riddle. I lived right down the street from him. You all know that.
Oh, I know that. I know that.
He
y'all both bought your lots from me. Yeah.
He was a man's man, and he and Ms. Riddle were special people, and I think at one time their daughter, who was married at that
Sharon.
time, they lived up the street, right up the street.
That's right, Sharon and Jim. That's right. Y'all all did things together.
Those kids were so little then; they're grown up, and I don't know what all they're doing now. But they're good family. But I love Coach Riddle, and I love being around him. He reminded me of some of the greats, Bryant.
He was a lot like Coach Bryant, didn't you think?
Yeah, in some good ways.
But what I'm saying, he was his own man, wasn't he?
Yes, yes, he was something special.
Larry, tonight, of course, is a big game in Mobile. Of course, I know you'll be watching. It's going to be on ESPN2. Troy has 25 Trailways buses going to that game, Coach.
Awesome. That's
25
awesome.
Trailways buses, 10 for students, 9 for the band, 3 for the football team and the people around them. Then we've got 2 alumni buses going. My total right now is 25 buses heading south to Mobile.
That's awesome. That's a great thing to see. I hope it turns out like we want it to. I talked to Neil yesterday, and he's trying to get his team back to playing like they were earlier. And of course, he's had some injury problems. We all know that, and that's been well documented. But ain't nobody worried about your injuries in this day and age. All they want to do is win, and that's all he wants to do. So. He and that staff work hard, and they're very good coaches, very qualified, and I'm pulling for them tonight. I watch every snap.
Yeah. Coach, you've been there many times, and you've had great quarterbacks. I can go down the list of the great quarterbacks that you produced at Troy. It's a big difference, Coach, being the head number 1 quarterback and being the number 2 quarterback. And hopefully that's what happened Saturday was he just wasn't accustomed to being number 1. But it's a big difference in number 1, the guy to carry to be the bell cow, and that guy that's going to be the quarterback if this guy's injured. It's a big difference, isn't it?
Well, it's yes and no. I'd say yes in that he hadn't been there before, and no in the fact that he's probably good enough to be. There's a reason why he's number 2 at a major school. And was recruited by that school. And, this young man is going to do a good job. He, probably has struggled a little bit with the reins of the team, but I believe that, he wouldn't be at Troy if he wasn't qualified. So, he's going to make it happen, and them other guys around him will help him do that.
Well, back in the spring, Coach, we really weren't a dime's bit of difference in who was going to be the quarterback. Nobody really knew. Then Barker, of course, is a great athlete, sort of took over and played very well. It's hard to pull a guy there, but at the same time, Smith was highly regarded, didn't you think?
Well, that's what I understand. I wasn't involved in the recruiting process, but I'm a Trojan just like you are, and I'm hoping he's qualified, and I'm hoping he can lead that team, no matter how much of the role he has to. Isn't he a good runner?
Yeah, he is a real good runner, Coach. He's a real good runner.
That's that can make him effective, and I think the more his team around him, invest in that particular part for him.
A lot of people realize too, Coach, that back when you coached, you were a run first guy. Didn't you agree? You like to run the football.
Yeah, I think so. But we didn't throw it as much. But I did make the decision before most of them around to go to spread offense and for Troy, because of where we were and where we were in the process of being 1A and being able to recruit guys, I thought we could recruit big pass protectors and wide receivers and quarterbacks, more so than maybe a great tailback that Bo Jackson type. And so we did come to Troy with a run first.
It was not unusual at all to see you get into a double tight end set, which might be I backfield behind a double tight end set.
All right, we've been there. With at least one flanker out there, and of course, I've been in the wishbone over my career, but never did major in that particular. Especially at Troy, we didn't feel like we could Nebraska up against everybody.
Yeah. Well, another thing, of course, you played some big ball games. You played some big teams well. Of course, you beat Missouri. You just wore Oklahoma State out, and you beat a lot of good teams. But but back then, it was hard up front to. Don't you agree that it's up front where you get win and lose on offensive and defensive side?
No question. And you got to recruit those guys and find guys with big hearts if they ain't got big bodies. And we were able to find a bunch of great ones. Bob Hall.
All-American. Yeah.
First All-American, Division I All-American.
From Early County, Georgia. How many guys did you get from Early County, Georgia?
Well, we signed a few, and that's all. South Georgia and Corridor, 84 Corridor, is an area that we worked hard all the way to the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach, and I don't know how many times you've been asked this before. You had Ware and you had O.C. Umenyiora, two of the best defensive linemen in the history of pro football. Came out of Auburn High School. I remember you saying this to me so vividly that this Umenyiora guy is going to be a real steal. I mean, he was just 16 years old. He was an Italian print. Did Auburn realize that those two guys were at Auburn High School, or did you just recruit them and develop them?
Well, we had some James Joseph who played for us at Auburn was at Auburn High School, and we started out with a tight end there that was a good player. Nobody knew about him either. And then we signed Brandon Hall, who was a big offensive lineman, went to the NFL. And then we signed DeMarcus Ware, who was 6'4", 195 when he came out.
That might have been the difference right there, wasn't it?
Exactly. And they were underdeveloped, but players, had speed. O.C. was 16, as you mentioned. We redshirted him, and he came on and
he didn't even hardly know what football was about, did he, Coach?
Well, I mean, he probably didn't know as much as most of the guys in the program, because he was from across the pond, and I think had lived in Atlanta for a while, and then moved to Auburn and went to school, and so there was some development to be had for him, but he was a great athlete, and we lined him up at 3 technique, which is an inside position, and he wore them out in there for a year or two, and we moved him to end.
He was extremely quick. He was actually quicker than Ware, probably, wasn't he?
I don't know about that, Coach.
Well, I mean, Umenyiora now. This is O.C. Umenyiora.
Not Umenyiora.
I know, Umenyiora. But, of course, two of the all-time greats. And Umenyiora, a lot of people don't realize it, but his plaque is in Yankee Stadium, or not Yankee Stadium, where the Giants play. He's got his picture up there. Did you know that?
O.C.?
Yeah. I mean, he's been one of the all-time great players to play with the Giants.
Yes, sir. They won 2 Super Bowls, I think.
That's right.
And my boy from Eufaula, I know you can help me with that. A wide receiver that played for the Giants.
Oh, yeah. Jarrell Jernigan.
Jarrell Jernigan. He's coaching up there now. I'm really proud of him. I've talked to him 2 or 3 times, and he's a great young man, and I'm sure he's a great coach.
You know, there's somebody else over there at, you've got Smith Station located right over there next to you. You know who coaches for Smith Station that you might know a little bit about? Ronaldo Sincade Pennington. You remember him?
Yes, I do. What a good boy.
He's coaching.
He was a good boy too.
Yeah, he's coaching over at Smith Station, and then you got your guy at Opelika that played for you. Chandler. You got guys everywhere, Coach. Have you ever counted how many players you got still in the coaching?
No. I ain't smart enough to count. There's a lot of them out there, and I'm very proud of all of them.
Well, you know what, Coach? It just makes everybody feel good just to hear your voice. What a great guy you are, and what a great coach you were, and what a great man you were for Troy. You got a real bond in this town, Coach. People love you.
Hey, man, I hope you'll keep pushing that indoor facility for me.
I will, Coach. I know it. You're exactly right, and I know you're pushing it hard.
Well, I'm not in much of a push position right now, but I appreciate you mentioning it. And
Coach, tonight the keys to victory. I know I've got an idea of what those will be, but what would you say the keys to victory tonight?
Well, turnovers is number one, and if we get some breaks on turnovers, or if we give some up, it'll change the game. And I think if Troy's able to throw the ball a little bit, to mix in and have some mixture on offense, I think that'll help. Certainly winning the line of scrimmage on defense. And
they're going to try to kill the ball on us, don't you think? Try to hold the ball?
Well, I don't know much about them, so you know more about that than me. But
well, I really don't, but I would think they would try to, possession time will mean a lot in this game.
Oh yeah, I think so too. Which it does in most games, but this one for sure. And we just gotta take care of the football and avoid those silly, as Coach Dye used to say, silly penalties. And just take care of the game.
Yeah. No question about it. I know you'll be sitting up there watching every minute of it, won't you?
I surely will, and I appreciate the call. And
well, we love you, Coach.
Talking to the Troy people and you.
Thank you very much, Coach, and appreciate you calling. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You're on Today in L.A. How you doing? You're on Today in L.A. How you doing? Hello?
Hey.
Mike had a good talk with Coach Larry Bladen. I hope you enjoyed that, ladies and gentlemen. He's the real deal, if there ever was one. And you know exactly whatever is coming out of his mouth is something that he believes in, Mike. He's not a bull. He don't shoot the bull. He's a straightforward guy, no question about it.
Well, I mean, nobody's got, the experience Coach Bladen has, as far as, getting a team ready for a big game and especially coming off a tough loss. I'm sure he was upset to see Troy lost to Liberty and knows how important this game is for Troy and against South Alabama tonight.
Mike, you grew up around Coach Larry Blakeney as a kid, living in the same neighborhood with him and being around him. What kind of fellow was he to a young man like you?
I mean, he was as down to earth as any coach you'll ever meet. Extremely approachable and one of those type guys that always came and talked to you wherever you were. I mean,
want to know how you were doing and everything, didn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that you didn't have to go to him. He would eventually come to you. And, I had the fortune, to work in the athletic department, to be around Coach Bladeney and Johnny Williams and be around all the players. And it was always a lot of fun. I mean, it was one of those things where, I feel like anywhere I go, if I see Coach Bladeney, I'll go up there and talk to him and give him a hug. He's just one of those guys that it's like that. We're very blessed.
He was just a real deal, wasn't he?
Yeah, we're very blessed for a long time having Coach Maestri and Coach Bladeney there for so long. Everybody in the community and everybody in the surrounding areas, you know, had that kind of relationship.
Can you believe having a Coach Blakeney, a Coach Riddle, and a Coach Maestri on the same staff? Can you believe that?
Yeah, Coach Riddle, I think, was just about to finish up when
that's right.
Coach Blakeney took the job.
Because, you know, Coach Blakeney, he's been, you know, very modest. He was a very good baseball player at Auburn, too. And Coach, I think Coach Riddle, scouted him, you know.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where back then, I mean, I think a lot of guys went to Auburn and played football and baseball and other sports. I mean, that was kind of part of the deal.
That's right.
I know, you know, that was, you know, prevalent at Auburn and in Alabama back in the day.
Yeah.
Guys playing more than one sport.
Well, you were around Coach Riddle, too, and how much fun was it to be around him?
Well, I mean, he was kind of more like a granddad type figure, it felt like, to a lot of younger kids, you know. I mean, he just, you know, one of those guys that, you know, you wanted to go out there and just kind of speak to. And,
but you felt like he was really somebody. I mean, he was a hero type guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Troy was so good back then. You felt like that. I mean, anywhere, kind of like the way an Alabama fan feels now with Nick Saban. You know, you feel like you're going to win every time, you know, you step on the field. And that's kind of the way you felt with Coach Riddle back then.
You know,
I think my favorite Coach Riddle days were probably those days when we used to go down to the beach and watch.
Oh yeah, watch him play down there.
In those small ballparks. I mean, like literally, you would kind of hang out with them before the games at the hotels, and then go over to the stadium and watch them play. And
and you knew that team.
And then all the parents and stuff. You know, you knew all the parents growing up too from football and baseball. It was so much different back then than it is now.
I was talking to Mark the other day. I knew his mom and daddy real well, and. You know, you're right. You got to know their parents and everything, and they were all great people. And it sort of was sort of sad to bring up that subject with Mark, but because his parents were so instrumental in his development, and then later on, Coach Riddle was like a father to him, and you know, that's the kind of coaches you want your kids to be around. You know, and then Maestri was a unique guy. Everybody that knew Coach Maestri loved him too, and you know what he did, Mike. What he did that was unreal. The way Coach Maestri communicated, he would write notes. You get a note in the mail that said, "Mike, I really appreciate what you had to say," or he said, you know, just numerous things where he would just write a note, and writing a note, and for you out there, ladies and gentlemen. It still touch you more than a phone call will, because you took time to write a note, put a stamp on it, and send it out.
Yeah, one thing about Coach Blakeney, I think when he got the job, that the confidence he had and the aura he had.
Oh yeah, he did. He was already a sort of a celebrity.
You knew that Troy was going to be, you know, really good in football, and you knew that he was going to turn the program around.
And he was a guy.
Unfortunately. You know, he caught a couple bad breaks his last few years. I mean, we had that team that got beat by Tennessee 55-48, and then he had that heartbreaking, you know, team that, you know, should have won the conference championship, let Florida Atlantic and Coach Snellenberger come in and
that's right.
The conference championship. That was one of the better Troy teams.
Well, I'll tell you another great Troy team that lost in the playoffs was the game where we let Georgia Southern come in. He was so much better than Georgia Southern. It was pitiful. And Georgia Southern admitted that. Stowers told me many years. He said, no. He said, we play y'all 10 times, y'all beat us 9, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that was just unfortunate interception where we could have kicked the field goal and went to overtime. But that was the best Troy team. I think ever under Blakeney. That team was 11-0.
Yeah, 11-0. Yeah.
They were a lot like Alabama. They just blew out everybody they played. I mean, it wasn't even close.
And Ryle was a great quarterback. Man, he was a great quarterback. Could run.
They had, you know, Alvis and all these, you know, the Auburn transfers, Ted Yarbrough. They had all these great players that had transferred in. And
I tell you something about Ryle, Mike.
That was the team that should have won a national championship. There's no doubt.
That's right, and of course he was just trying to throw the ball away, and the ball
dove and made a great play.
Made an unbelievable shoestring catch, and
if it had been reviewed, he might not have called it.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have.
But they didn't have a review by then. But you know, I think 2 or 3 different times Troy went to the third round of the playoffs, one game away from the championship.
I tell you who was also good on that team was Yarber. You remember Yarber, the transfer from Auburn? He was a great player.
Yarber.
And then, of course,
you know, Coach Blakeney, though, I mean, will be legendary for years and years to come. But I tell you what, what Neil Brown's done has been incredible. It's one of those type of things where, he's really built a program, and that's the only reason you got to think Troy can win tonight is that Neil Brown's built such an established program, and that Steve Campbell and Kenny Addenfield and Coach Stewart are trying to build a program. They're trying to get their own guys in and their own recruits. It should take a while. Now, if they beat us tonight, we're in trouble for the future.
I think we are too.
Very big trouble for the future.
I think it's a huge game. I think this is a huge turnaround game for Troy. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Let me tell you, I'm personally not as confident about Troy as I should be, probably, because of the way they play.
Anybody watching that Liberty game, which I watched every single play, I had it on ESPN3 up here.
Yeah.
It was very discouraging. But, you got to realize Troy beat LSU last year. They beat Nebraska this year. I mean, Troy's got a lot of talent.
This is a talented Troy team.
We got to have a quarterback that can get him the ball, though. If he can't get him the ball and he's overshooting and overthrowing and throwing in triple coverage, and
he's got
turnovers. You have 3 turnovers, you're going to lose any game. And
no question about it.
Tonight,
I'll give you a perfect example of all this.
Tonight, look for Marcus Jones returning punts. I think unfortunately Rooker has lost that job due to 2 muffs.
And if Jones, hey, listen, let Jones run back both of them. I want the ball in Jones's hands.
Yeah, I think.
He came within a hair? Do you know he came within a hair of pulling off another unbelievable play to win the game?
Yeah, well, the guy just out fought him for the ball.
I know,
he lost that ball.
And of course, the guy was
the guy wanted it more. It jumped over his head and pulled it back to catch it from him.
Yeah, he was a much bigger player than Jones was. But Jones, if he makes that play, man, they'd be putting a Superman cape on him, because he would have won. He would have. Do you just think about it? And then the coach there for Liberty, would that have been the no-brainer of all no-brainers in the world for him to be throwing in that situation?
Well, the best thing he should have done in that situation was run out the clock.
That's what I'm saying. He could have scored and run out the clock and won the game, and he's throwing the football, and it's just the guy has to make a Superman play to catch the ball.
That's one thing since this break. I hope to goodness Troy does play and win tonight so we can finally stop talking about this Liberty game. I'm still having a hard time.
I agree.
Troy lost to Liberty.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's so sad, and we don't talk about him enough, but Caleb Barker, wherever you are this morning, what a great year you were having. And
yeah, he had surgery on that Friday, so I don't think he made that Liberty trip. I hope to goodness he's down there on that sideline.
Yeah.
Encouraging these guys and maybe helping them.
Out of Priceville, Alabama, notice Priceville got beat 50-something points this week in football.
DAR blew them out.
But what I'm saying, he was a great high school player, a great recruit for Troy, and hopefully he'll get well and fight for the position again next year. And I hope he has to fight for that position.
Yeah, you're the only reason he's going to have to fight is if Sawyer Smith or Gunnar Watson come out and play lights out these next few games.
What do you know about Gunnar Watson, the backup?
I mean, I just know he put up big numbers in Georgia, but I mean, other than that,
Lee County, Georgia won. Do you know who was on that staff at Lee County, Georgia, Mike? Hanson.
Coach Dye?
Coach Hanson from Enterprise. Did you know that?
Oh, really? Buck Hanson?
Buck Hanson was on that, I'm thinking was on that same staff at Lee County, Georgia, that won the state championship under Watson's, Watson was the quarterback.
Wow, I'm looking at the weather forecast. Looks like it's going to be rainy tonight. Do you know that?
No, and then tell us how cold it'll be.
Oh, I mean, it just looks like rain possibly tonight, unfortunately. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, well, they play on the surface. That won't.
No, but, I didn't realize it was going to be raining, so that could be a factor as well.
How cold is it? What kind of clothing should we wear tonight?
It's just a high of 68, low is 59, so
it's going to be very, very pleasant temperature then, won't it?
Well, it's not going to be pleasant if it's going to be raining the whole game.
Well, you're going to be at home watching on TV.
Yeah, I know, but I hate it for all the fans. It's all getting soaking wet the whole time.
I want to mention our good friends at Pike County Ford, ladies and gentlemen, located on the bypass right here in Troy, and they've got a huge sale going on out there, and they've got people coming in from all over. They got all kinds of new cars and trucks to choose from. A great place to buy an automobile, Pike County Ford on the bypass right here in Troy. want to also mention our good friends at Dixieland Dental, located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Strength, Damon Strength, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama. And also our great friends at a brand new bank coming to Troy. Of course, they've been here for a while already, doing a lot of business at First Cahaba Bank. My good friend Grady Camps, and bringing a brand new bank to Troy, Alabama, with new locations right there at the
Behind Publix.
Yeah, well, right in the I call it the Publix Parkway, right there, and it'll be a brand new business opening up in November. But great people doing business with great people. Cahaba Bank, First Cahaba Bank of Troy, Alabama. Mike?
Yeah, I'm heading down Thursday, heading down to the beach, and I'm already told my wife. I said we're going to have to get fly barrels from Hook's Barbecue.
How am I going to be able to get a ticket tonight? I need somebody to give me a ticket tonight on that over $1 billion you can win. Can you believe that?
Yeah, my wife, her boss was coming back from she owns a home in Casters, North Carolina, near Holland.
Yeah.
Coming back yesterday and bought my wife and I 10 of the Mega Millions.
All right, and also
the Powerball, I guess is what it is.
The Powerball's got a half a billion dollar deal so far. I think I might go out and get in the car and ride down there and get something. If anybody's going down there, please call me today, 372-2001, 372-2001. And also, if you want to get on the bus tonight for that football game, call me at 372-2001, and we'll and you can get on the bus with us at 2 o'clock today.
You can buy them in Florida. Y'all gonna be how close y'all gonna be to Florida?
Well,
on the bus today.
Well, I'll be on the bus. But somebody down there that is.
Why don't you get Lloyd Taylor to pick you up some? Is he going to the game?
I will. I'll call Lloyd. He's not going to the game tonight, but I'll get him to give me the things. Hey, you know. I'm sure he'd love to do it, but can't you see him right now saying, I wonder how Mike did. Oh, Mike won. Mike won that $500 million. Hey, even the best of friends, Mike, it'd be hard getting those tickets, wouldn't it?
I tell you what, if I want
that would be the test of all character, wouldn't it?
I tell you what, if I won $1 billion, I'd go into hiding. I don't want anybody to even be near me.
Exactly. Mike, let's go over some high school scores here as we go off the air, and help me with a little bit here because there were some great games out there. Of course, I saw one in person at Mountain Brook, and this guy, how good is to his brother? He's pretty good, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good. I mean, you're going to find out a lot more. They play Hewitt Trussell and Paul Tyson Jr., so they're going to have.
Do they play them this week?
Playing each other this week, yeah.
Well, I tell you this, the kid can run too, Mike.
You know what? Y'all might get lucky. It looks like the rain is going to go away around 6 o'clock tonight. So,
our weatherman Mike Amos says the rain's going away at 6. The kickoff's at 7. Mike.
Yeah, so maybe y'all won't have as much rain as I thought.
Yeah. Let's look at
it. Really rainy this morning, though.
Yeah. Let's look at a few of these high school games. Wetumpka beat Selma 61-40. That was a basketball score, wasn't it?
Yeah, Selma's awful.
I'm just going to call out a few of games in our area. Valley, the team that Charles Simpson plays this week, beat Rehoboth 28-2. Thompson beat Mountain Brook 31-7. Trinity beat Ashford 36-27. Some other games of interest: St. James 42, Prattville Christian nothing. Some other games: Lanier beat Dothan 30-20. What's happened to Dothan? I don't know. Their program is really down now. Some other games here: Providence Christian beat Strawn 59-7. Mike, what a team at Strawn this year. Some other games: Pike Liberal beat Success Unlimited, wherever they come from, 7-6.
You said they came from Birmingham.
Yeah, 7-6. Pike County walloped Opp 51-6. Opp's down like they never have been. Opelika 59, Stanhope Elmore 21. Some other games of interest, Montgomery Catholic, which is very good. Listen to this, Mike. Beat T.R. Miller 27-3. How many times have you seen T.R. Miller get beat like that? Monroe.
I was looking at Valley's record. They're 4-4, 2-3 in the region, so they might have to win this game against Charles Henderson to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Charles Henderson is in. I think. And
but Valley's 4-4 and 2-3. They'd probably have to win this to get in. That's
a good program. Luverne beat Calhoun 58-0. Some other games. Monroe beat Fort Dale 34-14. Looking at a few more games, and I like to do this because I want everybody to be recognized here. Hooper beat Clark Prep 47-16. Hoover beat Vestavia, Mike. When that game was going on, this other game was being played right down the road. There was 8,000 people at the game I was at, and then right down the road, you reckon how many people saw the Hoover Vestavia game?
Well, Vestavia's got bleachers on both sides, so probably 12,000. I would.
That many, and they were right down the road from each other. About how far?
Well, through the roads through Overton to over to the hills and the Vestavia is probably about, I'd say, 10 minutes.
Of course, remember the coaches show is tomorrow night. All the coaches, and we'll see Goshen's review of Central of Hayville.
Troy will be going head to head with
41
baseball tonight. Los Angeles Dodgers against Boston tonight. It starts at the exact same time.
Yeah. Greenville at Wilcox Central. Greenville beat them 51-0. Georgiana beat Kinston 46-0. Gadsden, I got to mention this. Gadsden beat West End 42-34. And the kid from Gadsden, Mike, the running back, gained 430-something yards. A running back at Gadsden High School.
Gaston City, is that where
No, it's G-A-S, Gaston. G-A-S-T-O-N. And it's 2 minutes, let's see here. Florella, who is playing better football than anybody around. Success Unlimited is located near Vaughn Road at 231. So that's out there near Highway 231. It's probably that old school out there, Mike.
Well, I mean, that's Vaughn Road. It means it's in Montgomery, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Daleville against, you're right. Now, this is what he just brought me. I don't know if that's, Daleville beat Geneva County 50-20. And Elba beat Red Level 41-6. We're looking just at games in our area. And I wanted to make sure Charles Henderson in a tremendous game against Tallahassee. Charles Henderson came back from 2 touchdowns down, Mike, to win the game in overtime. Puka Jones threw 4 touchdown passes in that game. Central Phoenix City beat Jeff Davis. Looking at some other games, I don't see. Andalusia beat W.S. Neal 49-7. Arrington beat G.W. Long 42-6. Big win for them. Abbeville beat Barber County 40-0. And Alabama Christian beat Booker T. Washington 22-20. Those are some high school scores that we wanted to definitely for you to know about. Looking at Alabama and Auburn, Mike, down the stretch, and you were talking about Auburn will be a win here will make them bowl eligible. Is that right? Are they already bowl eligible?
No, they're 5-3.
All right, they're 5-3, and Auburn is off this week and will play Texas A&M.
That's another thing we didn't mention about Troy. If Troy wins this game, they'll be bowl eligible as well.
That'd be great right there. And see, as far as the reward, like I've said on this show so many times, the reward is to go to a bowl game. If you think about it, of course, you'd like to win the conference championship, but really everybody's reward, except for the 2 teams playing for the national championship, is a bowl game. Does that make sense?
The biggest thing this year, though, that's different, though, is you can actually play for your conference.
Yeah, exactly. And so for the first time ever,
another home game, which would be incredible.
Exactly. And where everybody is trying to win this conference.
Unfortunately, it looks like the West is really poor this year. I mean, you got Arkansas State that's not very good, and Lafayette's playing a little better. But other than that, I mean, the East is where it's dominant.
Mike, remember when I said this, Lafayette's going to be back. They're pretty good.
No, but they'll get killed by anybody out of the East.
You think they will?
Yeah.
Okay, on November the 3rd, Auburn and Alabama are off this week. And November the 3rd, Auburn's got Texas A&M at home. And listen to this, Alabama's got LSU at Baton Rouge. Boy, that's going to be a great weekend. And it's homecoming, at Troy. It's homecoming at Troy, 2:30 kickoff.
Is it really? When is that game going to be?
2:30 kickoff.
Oh, that's not a good. Well, Alabama's at 7. I wonder what time that Auburn A&M.
Well, the next week is going to be quite a game too. Troy's on the road at Georgia Southern, and then Auburn.
You're talking the 10th.
Yeah, the 10th. Yeah, and then Auburn's playing Georgia at Athens, and Alabama's playing at home against Mississippi State. So after this week, those 2 weekends in a row are going to be something to watch.
Yeah, it's a good time for an off week for a lot of people. So we're, looking forward to heading down on the beach.
And I'll tell you this. Right now. You got South Alabama, Louisiana, Lafayette, Georgia Southern, Texas State, and Appalachian State. You've got 5 good football teams you got to play before, and this is before and if you play for the championship of your conference. So,
well, Texas State should be a guaranteed win. Yeah. They're awful.
So I'll say this also, and this is putting the cart before the horse, or whatever, the horse before the cart, or whatever it works. Let's just say this. Troy, very conceivably, if they can win the right to play for a conference championship and go to a bowl game, Troy would have 7 more games left to play. Wouldn't that be fun? That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
And it'd be a great season and a great year. And, of course, lots ahead of us, a big game tonight, one at a time. And, ladies and gentlemen, all I've got to say is go Trojans, beat the Jaguars. And if you can't make it, now this is the easy way to catch the bus now. You can just come on and jump on the bus. And
well, you can also watch it on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock.
Or watch it on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock, that football game from Mobile. And, again, go Trojans, and hope to see you tomorrow laughing and joking and smiling and saying, go Troy!
Guy tomorrow morning.